Bell showcased his monstrous strength as a level 5 by earning a declaration of victory from none other than Ottar. Of course, this was a unique confrontation, but it revealed some incredible insights. After all, to emerge unscathed from Bell's attack, Ottar had to use one of his most powerful strikes. Even then, he declared a draw and awarded the victory to Bell due to the difference in their levels and power. Bell, being 2 levels below Ottar, managed to match the strongest adventurer and earned the win, achieving such a result despite being significantly weaker. Beyond that, there is much more to discuss about the dire situation faced by the coalition of adventurers and just how terrifying the Freya family is on a level that never seen before in Danmachi. Today I'm here to talk about all of this. After all, I love Danmachi and I'm committed to bring the best content I can to my viewers, so don't waste time and join the great community by subscribing to the channel to support my work and get the best of the otaku world. Starting with how Lily has been leading the coalition operations, it's a stark contrast to how Heijin commands his family, and it is absolutely brilliant. The key difference lies in something Heijin could never have, the Oculi. Back in the Xenos arc, the Hestia family used these orbs created by Fels to communicate during their battles across Orario, and now it's the same situation, although it's not exactly borrowing, since Lily outright say they stole as many orbs from Fels as they possibly could. Thanks to these orbs, Lily is able to manage and control the entire battlefield in a far more comprehensive and assembly manner than Heijin. And from the very beginning, Lily allocated 70% of her troops as scouts to get intelligence because Finn stated they absolutely could not allow Freya Family to launch an attack. If Ottar, the top tier adventurers, and the Einherjar initiated the charge, the coalition would have no way to stop or defend against them. Thus they needed to locate the enemy first and then take the initiative. However, this plan was brutally harsh, as it openly sacrificed their own soldiers to take down Freya's. The strategy was essentially to offer their own flesh to crush the enemy's bones. But as we know, things didn't go as planned, and it was because the tactic that Heijin employed that was simple and direct. He wouldn't play games, make elaborate plans, or set traps. His approach was to tell the coalition to draw their swords and fight head on. And this, of course, was exactly what Lily wanted to avoid, as facing the Freya family head on is akin to jumping into Dragon's Maw. However, by choosing and carefully planning how they would engage directly, Lily earned praises as a great commander. Had she relied on futile stratagems or attempted to flee, Heijin would have annihilated everyone present there. But because she acted as a competent commander, Heijin acknowledged her in the same way he acknowledged Bell. And a major difference to note during the war game is the atmosphere. In the anime it wasn't bad, but when you read the novel, you feel a constant tension. Everyone is stiff, afraid, and yet determined to move forward. Everyone is walking on eggshells, knowing they are up against an opponent they can't possibly defeat. The air is heavy, everyone moves slow, stutters when they speak, and is taken aback by how eerily silent the island is. This is probably the quietest war game in the history, so quiet that the silence itself feels deafening. And when the confrontation began and the coalition used Krotsu's magic sword, a massive difference unfolded here. Not a single member of the Freya family fell during the barrage. They unleashed magic swords, as powerful as advanced magic spells, a massive force, a sheer demonstration of raw power, and yet the Einherjar didn't fall. Even with their skin burning, losing their weapons, losing an arm, even when their legs were ripped off. Not one of Freya's followers went down, they couldn't be stopped. This reached the point where the coalition members were terrified. Even Cassandra, a healer, screamed in fear. The Freya family members looked like zombies. This is the hellish army known as the Berserkers. Freya family does not fear death. They experienced it multiple times during their training in Folkvanger. For them, dying and being revived is just a Thursday. They are accustomed to fear and pain, driven only by their unwavering loyalty to their goddess, and of course an incredible instinct for battle. This is the Freya family that the anime didn't show you. So after the insane and prolonged attack with magic swords is then when they fell, but then Haif appeared and the real battle began. Now revived by Haif, who was in a completely new, cold mode never seen before, the Einherjar become even more relentless. And when the magic swords attacks Wraith, the scene of Wraith with the healers behind her being sustained by her magic struck terror into hearts of the coalition. They were burned alive alive and yet was recovering. The regeneration of Heath and the others was at the same level of the Black Goliath that have appeared in Rivra before. And Heath is someone truly special. She stands as one of the most powerful healers in Orario alongside Emid. In fact, people used to call them the Silver Saint and the Golden Witch, as they were practically on equal footing. However, the key difference between them lies in how each one mastered their own healing abilities. Emid excels in large area healing effects, but Heath specializes in this skill, having been forged in the fires of Folkvanger. Emid might surpass in healing output, but Heath likely has a greater stamina, allowing her to sustain her efforts for longer. Additionally, Emid's abilities are more aligned with those of a typical healer, not overwhelmingly powerful. Meanwhile, Heath can easily take down second-tier adventurers in her own, and this was because she wasn't always a healer. Originally, Heath was a regular Einherjar when during the baptism of Folkvanger, but one day she came to recognize her limits, realizing she was destined to grow stronger. So Heath despaired over her limitations and decided to change her class to healer, and it was there that she discovered a latent talent she never knew she had. Thus, she became the Golden Witch, Vanna Mardell, a level 4 of the Freya family and one of the best healers of Orario. Heath is someone who absolutely must be defeated, as she is crucial on the battlefield. And when the tides of the battlefield shifted, Hedin unleashed his lightning magic to destroy Wel's magic swords. He targeted adventurers carrying them, significantly reducing the numbers of swords available on the battlefield. And observing Hedin's attack, Riveria concluded that his magic range is the largest in the Orario. Even though she is the most powerful mage in the city, if the competition was based on long-range magic or close combat, she would lose to Hedin. After all, the specialties are entirely different. However, the most alarming aspect of Hedin is his immense mental capacity. His ability to sustain magic far exceeds Riveria's. This highlights how formidable Hedin is. While his raw power and variety can match Riveria's, he's still a complete monster. But now, let's talk about Tsubaki, who faced Hogni. Tsubaki is a level 5 adventurer who received a boost from Haruhime, temporarily becoming a level 6. This allowed her to fight and hold her ground against Hogni for quite some time, but in the end she still lost. And why? First, Hogni has far more combat experience than her in every conceivable way. He is a ruthless and seasoned warrior, whereas Tsubaki, despite being strong, is not a warrior but a blacksmith. In second, with Haruhime's magic, Tsubaki's strength still falls short compared to Hogni's, whose base stats are higher. And most notably, Hogni's cursed sword, which can extend the range of his strikes, is incredibly broken and makes life difficult for all his opponents. Moreover, he had used his Dying Sleep magic, which shouldn't have been allowed. Unlike offensive magic, this rare ability affects the user's mental states, literally altering their personality. Instead of being a timid coward, Hogni became a rigid and cruel individual, with the intent of killing anyone in his way. And this magic is designed to invoke the stronger version of Hogni, making him relentless. During Orario's Dark Ages, Hogni once used this magic and annihilated over 1,000 Evil's followers in a single battle. So yeah, this magic turns him into a monster. Now let's go to Bell. During the brief clash between Bell and Van was far more enraged than the anime depicted. To him, Bell was someone who had shared Freya's blessing and yet betrayed her divine will. Van's eyes radiated hostility and bloodlust. He was there to eliminate Bell. On the other hand, Bell, while facing Van, felt sadness and a sense of emptiness. Despite being deceived, he had spent 20 days in the Freya family as one of its members. Even though Bell felt a strange bond with them and disliked having to fight Van this way. However, this is a war game, and then he easily defeats Van, sending him flying. But then Ottar soon arrives to heat things up. Here, Ottar was testing Bell, assessing his abilities. He wanted to take a full power strike from Bell to gauge the habit's strength. As seen in the anime, Bell charges his Argovesta into the mithril sword Ottar had given him, using a double charge and pushing his mental resistance to its limits. From the start, Bell was anxious about whether it would work. Even though it's called the Heroic Strike, he wasn't sure of its success, and it might have worked if Ottar hadn't acted as well. Ottar here uses his spell Hildisvini, which envelopes his sword into a golden light. This magic is similar to Argonaut, but different. It's activates an extremely enhanced spell that significantly amplifies power. It's the same magic Ottar used to defeat another level 7 adventurer when he was still a level 6, so this is a powerful spell. And then the two strikes clash, and at the moment of the impact, the entire island fell silent. The shockwave from their clash caused our adventurers to pause their battles momentarily. Then Ottar immediately declares a draw. However, considering the 2-level difference and the fact that Ottar was pushed back into a wall, breaking it, he awards Bell with the victory for this skirmish. This demonstrates the power Bell wields today. More importantly, if Ottar hadn't used the Hildisvini, he probably wouldn't have been defeated, but he would certainly have been in a bad shape, given the strength of Argovesta, even after clashing the Ottar's magic. Bell's powered sponge is extraordinary. It wouldn't be far-fetched to say that if Bell had received Haruhime's boost, he could have caused serious damage to Ottar, although not likely defeating him in a single strike. Bell undeniably wields strength far beyond his level, and that might be his greatest asset, alongside the accelerated growth from Lyra's freeze. However, this was just the first skirmish and not the entire battle, because it's now that begins. And aside from Bell, everyone else taking a beating too. After defeating Tsubaki, Huggy moved onto Daphne and the others, leaving everyone in despair. And yet, no one ran away. Even Cassandra stood her ground, despite her overwhelming fear. Meanwhile, Aisha and Mikoto were also having serious trouble against the Gullivers, holding on thanks to Nasa's support. Nasa remained steadfast in her role as a supporter, never thinking she could defeat powerful adventurers or even trying to. The only thing she did was supporting her allies by supplying them with magical weapons, which provided some relief for Mikoto and Aisha during their fight. But their chances were very slim in this war. The balance was completely broken, and the coalition had almost no chance of winning this battle. The things were so dire that the citizens of Orario were pale with fear at the carnage unfolding before them. But even in such a dire situation, the coalition hadn't given up. Despite being relentlessly attacked by Freya Family, their determination to support Bell and to bring down the Freya Family pushed them forward. And then in the middle of the battle, a thunderous sound silenced the island. The noise of battle stopped everyone in their tracks. The Einherjar froze, the adventurers paled, and the first tired adventurers narrowed their eyes. While Aina wept, Ais clenched her fists, regretting not joining the battle, with Tiona being the only one who truly understood her feelings. At that moment, Bell was finished. Ottar held him by the head, which cracked under the pressure. His armor was shattered, his legs dangled, and Bell was utterly defeated. Here, Bell saw Ottar as the embodiment of despair. When Ottar slammed him into the ground, the sky disappeared from Bell's view. Pain coursed through his spine, and he couldn't even speak. His consciousness were sleeping, until Ottar stomped on him, forcing him awake. Even winning the skirmish with Ottar, in the real battle, Bell loses. And that's where the video ends today to avoid spoilers. So if you want more content of Danmachi, in this video you'll find what you're looking for. But before you go, leave a like, subscribe to the channel and comment below to prove you made it this far. And now I'm out.